What's going on, everybody? We got to talk about Bitcoin. We are at 80.6K inside of Bitcoin right now, currently up 1.6% in the last 24 hours. We're still up 8.9% in the last 30 days. I just wanted to do a quick video on Bitcoin though, because as you guys can see, we are trying to break out of this bear flag here. And as we all know, bear flags are bearish signals. So we got to talk about this. Why are we not breaking out to the downside? Why are we not breaking out to the upside since it looks so bullish? What's going on? That's what we're talking about. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Let's get straight into it, guys. So shout out to all the members of the channel. Let me know what you guys want me to go over next, by the way, inside the comment section. But look at this. This is getting crazy. We're back at 80.5K now. So the other day on Bitcoin, we were actually pushing, some lower levels down here. Like we're almost pushing 70, below 78K. We were at 78.7K. So had we gotten to 77K, that would have marked it. That would have marked the nail in the coffin, and it would have continued to dump from there, right? So if we have another pullback and we go below this level right here, 78.7K, if we do that, we are effectively confirming that it is bearish, right? So that's what we're waiting for right now. Currently, you can see on the 50-day simple moving average, we keep breaking below it, breaking back above it, and now breaking back below it. So we got to see what we're going to do there. And then we got the 200-day that's also curving downwards here. It's coming down as the price is coming down. And as you can see, is getting rejected there every single time. So let's see what happens here, because this could mean that we have another breakout coming soon if this right here is a bull flag. So we know we're inside of a bear flag, but if we have this bull flag within the bear flag, this is when things start to get, a little bit dicey. And as you can see, the bull flags, they're the opposite of the bear flags. So you have that continuation after your flag pull, right? After your flag pull, after your flag, you have that continuation breakout. So that is what we're watching for right now when it comes to Bitcoin. So, because anything can happen at this point. Like we could break out of it, yes, to the upside, and we can break past both moving averages, right? We're really close to it right now. Like it's a possibility. But we're still trading within a bear flag, right? And we're still below those moving averages. So we have to see if this is going to be a bull flag scenario. So that is one thing that I'm worried about here when it comes to Bitcoin. We're on the 4-hour chart right now, by the way, looking at it right up here as it's about to almost break out. Now, the percent R trend exhaustion, it almost looks like it's grinding downwards, right? It looks like it's still on its way to grind downwards. It might be like a slow grind downwards. That's kind of what it looks like. If that happens, we can see this continuing to go down and then just a big dump after that, right? And this is only on the 4-hour chart, by the way. So, things could look a lot differently on other charts. So going to the daily chart, I feel like the daily and the 1-week chart are the most two important charts that you can look at whenever you're doing a technical analysis. But what I'm seeing here, like for one, we're getting rejected at the 200-day moving average, like I was saying before. And then we also have the 50-day simple moving average on the daily chart coming up here. And that's why I'm like, this is going to be a support level. We're going to be watching out for 75K. We're going to be watching out for 75K if we have that pullback. Now, the percent R trend exhaustion, the long-term trend was steady up, literally steady on an uptrend right here. And that's pretty bullish. And the fact that the short-term trend is like coming sideways here, but it's not dumping, that's also saying that we're looking pretty bullish. So if these intersect right here, only one of two things can happen. We can either have a massive breakout from there, or we can have a massive dump, right? Literally, those are the only two scenarios. And I know people are going to be like, obviously, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. That's not the point here. The point here is that one of these two things is going to happen, and it's going to happen massively, and you have to be prepared for both of those things. Like you can't lean too heavy on the bulls, can't lean too heavy on the bears, right? But it still has signals of what? Bearish divergence. So I was saying this before in my other video, we're having these lower highs right here. And when you come over here and you look at the divergence chart, when you have lower highs on your MACD, you have bearish divergence. When you have higher highs on your chart, that's still bearish divergence. So we're having higher highs on the chart, and we're having lower highs on the MACD. So you can see here, lower highs on the MACD. I know I mentioned this before. And then you can see here, creating higher highs on the chart as we speak. So the reason why this is so important is because if this is bearish divergence, then we should get a dump. And it should be similar to this right here. So it should be similar to that. It should be a decent sized dump. And what was that right there? That is this whole area here. So like I'm saying, I feel like we're gonna have a similar drop, and this drop is gonna take us down to 50K and possibly even pushing 45K. I know a lot of people aren't gonna agree with me on that one, but it is what it is. I might be wrong, right? Because I'm going off of the divergence on the MACD, and it's showing that it's that we have the bearish divergence. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's showing bearish divergence. I'm going off of that. We're in a bear flag. I'm going off of that. We do have one instance where it's showing a miniature bull flag, but maybe that's a bull trap, right? Maybe it's a bull trap because we have two bearish signals going for us. Then we have one bullish signal going for us. And I guess the percent R trend exhaustion could be a second bullish one. So it's almost like we have two bullish signals and two bearish signals. So that's crazy because when I look at this, yeah, it looks like it's gonna continue upwards, right, and keep breaking out. So we have two bullish, two bearish signals. So that's what we got on the daily chart. And I'm still looking at that moving average because I think that pullback is going to happen inevitably, and that's going to come down to 75K, and then we'll decide if it's going to continue to go lower from that. So I think we're going to push down to 75K soon, and then we're just going to, just continue to trap people, right? It's going to start inching up again, and then from there, if it doesn't dump at that point, then it's bullish, but it might actually dump at that point. So I'm looking for that pullback to 75K and then see it trying to retest 80K. I want to see it continuing to push down. Now, again, we are in a bear flag, but anything can happen in these markets. The weekly chart also tells a different story than the 4-hour and then the daily chart. So on the weekly chart here, this is where I'm like, okay, my bearish theory is sticking out pretty well here. But there are a few flaws, right? When you look at the weekly chart, you have the 50-day moving average up here, right? And it's currently at 94K, right? So hypothetically speaking, what if we blew past the 200-day moving average and we went up to the 50-day moving average, which is about 94, 95K? So if we go up to the 50-day moving average, that's about 94, 95K, then that's a bullish push, but then we're probably going to get rejected there and then continue downwards. So the question is, when do we dump? Do we dump now? Or do we come up here to 95K and do we dump? So it's like, yeah, we could be bullish, but we're still going to get up there and then we're going to dump. So are we really bullish, right? When are we going to dump? That's like literally the main thing. And then when you look at this, you're still looking at a divergence that's building up, right? On the weekly chart, we are building bullish divergence on the weekly chart. Bullish divergence is being built on the weekly chart. When you look at this, look at the right side where my mouse is. The bullish divergence shows lower lows on the charts, higher lows on the MACD, right? That's what we're building on the weekly. As you can see here, higher lows on the MACD. Look at that, higher lows on the MACD. As it continues, we're probably going to get a sell-off coming here pretty soon. And then that's going to be the next wave of selling. Is going to be another higher low. But as we create that next higher low, what else are we also creating? We're also creating the lower lows on the charts. So that's what we're doing. We're creating bullish divergence. So that's why if this is indeed bullish divergence, it would make sense that it dumps one more time. And then we have a nice breakout going towards the end of the year, like I've been saying the whole time. But that is my theory, right? My theory might be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. And then also here on the percent R trend exhaustion, it looks like it's starting to curve downwards here, almost like it wants to do a continuation to the downside. Like I was saying that happened in the previous bear market, intersected at around the same level. Well, it was much lower at that point, but it intersected and then it kept going, right? So let me zoom in on that actually. So over here, you can see that intersection that I'm talking about on the percent R trend exhaustion. And then it just kept going, right? And then it didn't keep going for a while, right? November, December, well, a little bit of October, November, December, and then January at the beginning, it started to pump. So that's how it's looking, right? That was the last bear market. That's what the last bear market did to us. And you can see what it was doing around that time, right? It was just consolidating. It had pretty much already created its lows, and it was just kind of consolidating at that point. But if you look over here, if we did indeed already get our lows, we might have a push that brings us down to maybe 60K and we do a double bottom. The double bottom scenario is also a possibility as well. Now, there's one thing that I hardly go over and that people don't see me talk about much on my channel, and that's the 1 month chart. I hardly ever touch the monthly chart. I just think it's too long term when you look at the monthly chart, right? Let's just take off all of the little drawings that we have here too. So this right here is our monthly chart, and it's not really working that well for me. Hold on. So on the monthly chart, it's actually showing that we are still below the 200-day moving average, and then it's showing our 50-day simple moving average right down here, and it's showing what happened on the last bear market and the bear market before that. It just tapped it on the first bear market in 2018, and then the second bear market here, it went below it very briefly, the 50-day moving average, and it stayed below it very briefly. And then on this one, we haven't necessarily tapped it yet, but we've gotten close to tapping it. So if we come down here this time and we tap that 50-day moving average, let's say we have another pullback and then possibly the double bottom scenario, if we tap it and then continue upwards. So that's another scenario that some people have been talking about, the double bottom scenario. And then there's the other scenario where we tap it, we go below it briefly, and again down to 50K, and then we start the bull market. All right. So that's what it's kind of looking like here to me when I look at this. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking so far about the current state of this market. In the monthly chart here, it shows that we've kind of pulled halfway down here, and then we've had the percent R trend exhaustion turn back upwards. So that's interesting that it decided to do that, but it could easily turn back and then continue downwards, right? Because I don't think it's sold off enough yet on the monthly chart here. I don't feel like it's sold off enough yet, but we'll have to see, because if it's like this, then that means buying pressure is about to come in, right? Because if you look back here, when that happened on the MACD, that's exactly when buying pressure started to come in, when we had the light shaded red candlesticks, right? And not immediately after it printed 3 of them out, then it breaks out. So after it prints out 3, 1, 2, 3, after it prints out 3, then it starts to take off, right? So if this is the same scenario, after it takes and prints off 3, which would then be next month, June 3, and then after the third one, and then it starts here, which would be July. So if it's the same scenario, we see something like this, then in July, we see a massive breakout, right? So that is a possibility as well. And then there's also the possibility of that extended sell-off on the MACD, right? And we haven't seen that on the monthly chart yet for Bitcoin, but we have seen it multiple times on the daily chart, weekly chart. And this is what I mean by an extended sell-off, pretty much what we just now seen. And I do believe we're going to have that last pullback. That's going to create another lower low, which is going to be 50K. And if we don't go below or go to 50K, then I think 60K, because then that would be the double bottom scenario. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, just to show you guys what was going on in that monthly chart right there, because I usually don't show you guys the monthly chart, which I think is pretty important. So yeah, like I said, either an extended sell-off or we have something like this. Like, these are literally the only 2 options at this point. This, where we just have a quick, swift recovery, which everyone's hoping for, or we have the extended sell-off, which is always a possibility, but we haven't seen it on the monthly chart for Bitcoin yet. All right, so this is all I got for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Go ahead and check out the link in the description for Chart Prime, best automated trading indicators out there. If you guys want to use Chart Prime is pretty decent. Let's go ahead and pull up Chart Prime here just to show you guys what we have here for Chart Prime. So this is Chart Prime, and then on the 4-hour chart, let's take off all drawings here. Yep, and as you can see here, it's pretty much doing what our moving averages are doing for us, right? It pretty much does it, but it keeps it inside of this range called the momentum wave bands, and it shows you the momentum of what you're going through. So this is Chart Prime. Check out the link in the description. And yeah, as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll be back with another video.